Mags, such as NMS here, were the ultimate in window shopping. If you were anything like me, you only got a new game on your birthday or Christmas. So aside from renting the odd game for a weekend, it was imperative you studied these tomes. Every word, every image, but the naive me would take these reviews as gospel. But what if they lied? What if the staff were more bent than Water and Heritage Auctions? I've decided to have a look at a few reviews of some Snes titles just to see if they're on the level or on the take. For the record, I'll be looking at no Nintendo first party games. It's a Ninty mag after all, so of course it'll be biased. Plus the majority of their output was quality, you can't deny that. No, I'm going a little further into third party underbelly territory. Battletoads Double Dragon is for sure a weird place to start. If you aren't ready for an instant fight, this beginner's trap will batter you. However, the review states as such, so they're on the money here. That said, they talk utter guff, stating that the presentation is very polished and perfect for a beat 'em up, but then they vaguely say it's old-fashioned and typical. What are they even getting at? They give it a decent score, can't really argue with that, but note above that it reveals that it's a tough game, but an uninspiring one. But the bottom line says unadulterated beat 'em up action. It's a bit of a flip-flop start. Nickelodeon games are always beautifully animated, but a rip-off of other titles. Real Monsters here is a knock-off Lost Vikings, where you switch between Ikis, Obalina and Crumb on the fly to solve platformy puzzles. It's nothing special here, but an above-average Nick game. It gets an 82 and says that it's too easy to switch monsters by accident. This isn't really true as there's a dedicated button for it. Can't help but notice as well, and the same as my footage here, all their screenshots are of the first stage. This would suggest they played it the same amount of time as me, about 10 minutes. Please note that my copy kept crashing. A little ad break in the action. Here's some magazine commercials that would absolutely not fly today. The Wild West 1990s. Let's see Earthworm Jim promoting a spot of bondage and masturbation, the next advert depicting evil tea cats, and an easy throwaway pussy joke. Classy. Speaking of classy, here's Vanilla Man Alan Shearer cupping his manhood for ISS Deluxe, the most basic football versus balls joke you can stick in. That's what she said. Before we get back to the main course, let's have a quick upsetting look at Reader's art. Here we've got Yoshi inexplicably changing Baby Mario's nappy, proof that fanfic existed long before the internet and 4chan, a rendition of the beginner's trap boss fight on Cartoon Batman, not sure why the Joker's trying to insert himself onto the cart, and finally, a terrible pun for Snesavoir dogs, which the caption says is really funny. Hilarious. Here's a quick fire round review for Brutal Paws of Fury, living proof that this mag will give just about anything a decent score. Game Tech are all over these mags, so they must have been a pretty big sponsor at the time. Cartoony platform hijinks now with The Mask, always dubious of a movie tie-in, and it crams a fair bit of the film into the opening stage before succumbing to generic tropes. Moving platforms, fights with a wrecking ball, usual nonsense. Still, it isn't too bad, and the review reflects it. 85% though. This is the epitome of a 60%er. Now, one for the grapple fans with WWF Wrestlemania. Straight away the review mentions there only being 6 characters available, which is naff, but yeah, limitations. Also, no one wants to be doink. It does, however, note that only having 2 game modes is a good thing. Odd. A wrestle game, I'd at least expect a Royal Rumble mode or a few extra options. Also, I have no idea why the sentence, "good response from hand controller," exists. Saying that isn't even a sentence. The game gets an 85. It plays fine for what is essentially wrestling with Street Fighter controlled special moves, but this wouldn't hit 50% for me. There just isn't enough game. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, your main event is here. Nintendo Magazine System gave Batman Forever 82%. Just let that sink in for a second. One of the most shoehorned, lazily made games, and this mag is loving it. Look at their playability section. Good response and easy to control. Then the very next sentence saying it isn't. If you need to press multiple buttons just to do basic bat actions, like the grappling hook, it definitely isn't easy to control. This reviewer compares this to this. Aside from that inane comparison, he does lay into the game for having crap AI, poor choice of Mortal Kombat digi-characters, and game pacing, yet it still scores 82. This absolute turd of a game has a better review score than this. Secret of Evermore. A true Nintendo classic game? Or Batman sodding forever? Evermore gets 81 with its unexciting plots. Alright, so an atmospheric near masterpiece RPG gets a lower score than wet slapping Crazy Dave and Mad Josh in a lackluster Batman game. For shame, Nintendo Magazine System, for shame. For anyone of the 90s that purchased this game off the back of your shady review, you owe a sincere apology. Seeing as though you love the game so much, your punishment will be to play it for the rest of time.